This is Golf with Jay Delsing. A two-time All-American at UCLA. A participant in nearly 700 PGA Tour events. 7 professional wins to his credit. Over 30 years of professional golf experience. A member of the St. Louis Sports Hall of Fame. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Welcome into Golf with Jay Delsing. We are coming to you from Show Me's in St. Charles with Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. We're coming to you also from the CarShield Studios. We just happen to be on remote, and we're brought to you by Doherty Business Solutions. Our guests coming up, one, Jeremy Rutherford, the beat writer from The Athletic that covers the St. Louis Blues. And then also, it's a unique league that's based out of St. Louis. Looking forward to visiting with Matt Minder, who is the founder of this particular league, a golf league, the Amateur Players Tour of St. Louis. And it goes nationwide. Jay, great to be with you on what is a very special Sunday. Going to get into that in just a moment. But coming to you from Show Me's, we take the show on the road, baby.
I know. It's fantastic to be with you, Danny. A Sunday. It's just terrific out here. Matt Minder and the APT, the Amateur Players Tour, has just done a fantastic job. And who doesn't want to listen to JR? I mean, one of the great guys in sports. And I know he's written a couple books, and just it's going to be really fun. I can't wait to hear what he's got going on.
So we'll visit with Matt Minder in hour number 1, Jeremy Rutherford coming up in hour number 2. It's interesting when we talk to JR, one of the things I want to ask him about is just the parallels between the sports, golf and hockey, because summertime, a lot of times golfers are out in the summer. We know that, but so are the hockey players because their season is over, so they gravitate towards something to be competitive in, and it just happens to be golf.
Absolutely. And Danny, when you emceed the shootout at the Ascension Charity Classic this past September, Robert Thomas was there. Got a good golf swing. The Chief, for a big man, the Chief can really hit the ball, and he's got a great set of hands. And the hockey players, besides being really cool, fun humans, Danny, their hand-eye coordination, ridiculous. I mean, they're doing it on ice. Come on, man.
Have you been around more fun guys than hockey players?
No.
You played a lot with Brett, probably Bernie.
Yep. Absolutely.
Chris Pronger, maybe a little bit.
Yep, absolutely.
Keith Kachuk.
Yep.
These guys are a riot, man.
Great people. I mean, the great one, I got to see him play some golf. I played a couple of rounds of golf with Marty McSorley, just a bunch of different, Mike Modano, a bunch of different guys, because when you go to these different cities, these guys are playing in the pro-ams, and I've played with a couple of guys up in Vancouver who at the time I wasn't familiar with. They played for the Canucks, and they're just the best. They're just the best guys. I mean, they're down to earth. They're playing a little golf. They're drinking a little beer, and it's just fantastic.
And they want to play with the golfers. So you had an in with all these guys because they want to be with the pro golfers.
I know that. How did we get that lucky, man? Very cool.
It is very cool. Yeah. So the other guest that we're going to have is Matt Minder. Now, this is called the Amateur Players Tour. He is the founder. It's based out of St. Louis. There's a lot of things I want to get into with Matt, like, I don't know, what the hell is this?
Exactly. I know a little bit about this. This is going to be so up your wheelhouse. It's going to be right up your alley. These guys play. He basically is going to have, I'm not even sure how many events he's going to have in the St. Louis area, but St. Louis is the largest chapter. I think they have over 40 chapters around the country, and they run events. They pay out prize money. Obviously not, they stay within the USGA rules and confines and keep all the amateurs.
To make sure it's amateur status.
Yeah, right. But, I mean, it's cool. You got to get in. And one of the things that I'm interested in asking him is that, how do they pay? Like, I mean, I know they're not peeling off $100 bills, so it'll be interesting.
If you're going to be an amateur status type tour, you can't pay them like that.
Yeah, you can. I think you get up to. I think now, you can get up to $1,000 without losing your status, and so I'm sure that they max that out, and so it's really sweet.
As we like to do all the time is go through news and notes around the PGA Tour, really just the world of golf. And again, if you're just joining us, we're at Show Me's in St. Charles. 2795 Veterans Memorial Parkway. Now, this will open up to the general public at 11 this morning. All the NFL games will be on the Sunday NFL Ticket. They have that. The cool thing that they have here at Show Me's is a happy hour all day long. So doors open 11, they close at midnight. Happy hour all day long if you want to play Golden Tee, if you want to play darts, but also they have NFL football if you want to play something else too.
Sounds like Sunday fun day to me, D. I love it. It sounds like fun. I got to give a shout out to our boy, Scott Ginger. Ginge.
So let's set this
up.
Man. You're playing golf
so cool.
this last week with a couple of buddies from Anheuser-Busch, also our buddy Justin Boyd.
Yep.
And Scott Ginger knocks one in, hole in one, his first ever, right?
Danny, we're on number 7. Jay Boyd's in the cart with me, Kyle and Ginger right in, and I get up and hit first, and I hit a shot that's pretty much at the flag, and I go, oh, that's kind of interesting as it's coming down. That's got the look. And it comes up about 6 or 8 feet short of the flag, but it's right on line.
Yeah.
Kyle gets up next and hits this shot, and it's right at the flag, and I'm like, whoa.
What's going on with these guys?
That's kind of got the look, too. And Danny, his first hop, we're like, oh, we all kind of gave a little body English like it was that close to going in. Ginge stands up with a 7-iron and hits this little fade, and I'm like, oh, man, that looks really good. It lands left of the hole and starts trickling. You know how severe that green is left to right, and it's trickling and trickling. So, D, this ball goes in the hole. He jumps up. I'm holding my 7-iron like this with the head of the iron near my hands. I throw it up in the air. It hits me in the chin. My golf club is like 25 yards away. There's clubs flying all over the place. Cece, our golf cart person at Norwood, who's just an absolute doll.
She's a sweetheart, yeah.
Is there, and all of a sudden, everybody's got a drink.
Yeah,
I mean, we are jumping around, and it was one of the things about golf that makes it so special, because I'm like, what is that moment like, and what's that memory like?
And that's his first ever, right?
First ever, yep.
And he's played countless rounds of golf.
First of all, he's a great, all 3 of these guys are great humans, and we missed you because you had some other obligations, but that would have been our fivesome, and it just makes the day so memorable and so special. And we talked, I mean, we were out of breath for 15 minutes, man,
great.
Jumping around and trying to find our clubs. There were clubs
you sent me
all
video.
over the place.
Did you shoot that video? Who shot the video?
Kyle shot that video, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And I should bring this up. You have, in your career, how many holes in one?
I got 20.
You got 20, and you're not joking. Tell the audience you literally have 20 holes in one.
I played a lot, though. I mean,
I know you played a lot. When you get to 51st in the world, you better make some holes in one.
I played, and I made some holes in one, yeah. So
with every club, with the exception of
I hit my driver and my
putter.
1-iron, yeah, and putter, yeah.
But you know what? I could take away the putter if you were playing putt.
Yeah,
you probably had some holes in one there.
One in there, yeah, absolutely.
Wasn't, sanctioned, but
no,
so
right.
what?
We'd have counted it. If you did give me an opportunity, I'd count it.
Right through the hippo's mouth. She got his 21st hole in one.
The hippo's mouth is right. Oh, man.
All right, some news and notes. Rory McIlroy, I don't think this is a surprise to anybody, but he resigned as a player director on the Tour's policy board. He's been frustrated with LIV and how it's been handled by the PGA Tour. This is really no surprise to anybody.
No, Danny, and we saw it take its toll on Rory, especially at the Masters. I mean, we talked about this. He came in hot. His game was great. He wasn't even there was just way too much distraction for him, both personally and professionally. You know,
sure.
He started having this, in my opinion, not necessary feud with Greg Norman. I mean, let Greg do. Why waste that energy on that sort of stuff? And so I think it's a good thing. We've got Tiger Woods up there now. Rory, I think it took a lot out of him, Danny, and I think it cost him.
Well, he's still trying to win the Masters, still 0 for his last 9, and then get the career Grand Slam.
Right.
And, he can sit there and say, I need to focus more on my game. I got a young family. I want to be with them. But to me, the bottom line is he was pissed off.
There's no doubt.
He was the face of the PGA Tour and is the face in many ways of the PGA Tour, and really wasn't consulted on what was happening with LIV. Got blindsided by it like everybody else. But everybody else isn't him. And he was the guy that was at the forefront of taking them on publicly and saying, this is not right for the game.
No doubt. Danny, spot on. Everything you said, it's absolutely perfect. When that announcement came out in June, there was no one hurt more than Rory McIlroy. No one. I don't give a damn how this whole thing shakes out. He was taking them for the team, and when Jay Monahan came out and announced that there was a possibility of this merger, he had to feel blindsided and just sacrificial lambed out there.
So you mentioned it. Tiger Woods is now part of the policy board. I'd love to be a fly on the wall to listen to what he has to say coming in, because he will have everybody's attention, including Jay Monahan, and this decision for Tiger to do this may save his bacon.
It could. I'm not sure it will, but it could. And you know what's interesting, D, is that Tiger is not this rah-rah. He's when you play with him, and he's got a needle and all that, and that's really fun. But this live got his attention like no other, because it jeopardizes all the things that he holds dear. And what he does not hold dear is money. What he holds dear is PGA Tour records, the history of the game, the well-being of the game, and where it's going. And LIV threatens all of that.
Yeah. I wonder what Tiger's going to say, though, immediately. What do you think his first address to, and I'm sure he's already talked privately with Jay Monahan and the power brokers of the PGA Tour, but publicly, what is he first going to say about this? I want to hear what he has to say. I want to hear what his ideas are. I want to hear if he feels that this is something that's feasible for these two entities to come together. Right. All of that I want to ask him about, or at least hear about.
I'll be surprised, D, if he gets too much in the weeds. The guy's so super private from a personal level, but this sort of stuff, he doesn't really divulge too much to the media, period. You know what I mean? He keeps things so close to the vest. But the fact that he's in those conversations, that's the important thing.
I'm sure you saw this. Once it does reach an agreement with Saudi Arabia's public investment fund, U.S.-based investment partners, or perhaps both, the PGA Tour will offer its members direct ownership in the newly formed corporation. That really caught my attention.
And I don't know what that means exactly. So, because, D, I'm a life member of the PGA Tour.
You're going right where I thought you were going to go.
Where the hell, what does that mean? Are you going to try to put some sort of evaluation on this? And then are you going to go back to anybody? Pick a guy. It's interesting because he just reached out to me. Al Geiberger, okay? The first guy to ever shoot break 60. Mr. 59, Al Geiberger, won, 10 or 12 tournaments. Is he going to get a slice of the tour? How is this going to work?
Yeah, I don't get it either.
Mine's going to be worth a couple, 23 cents.
But are the players then owners of the PGA Tour?
Danny, this is interesting.
You understand what I'm saying?
Of course.
Yeah.
They've told us this was our tour. This was your tour. We work for you. I'm like, I said to Tim Fincher one time, I was pissed. I was on the player advisory council, and I was pissed. And I said, when are you coming to pick me up in my jet?
You said that to him?
Yeah. I said, if this is my tour, you're flying around in our jet. When do I get to ride on that thing?
What was his response?
Walked away.
I bet the other players are probably high-fiving you.
Oh, yeah. They're like, dude. Listen, the old saying, don't down my leg and tell me it's raining. Just tell me what's going on.
Sure.
And I'm not that naive. I understand I'm not flying around on the PGA Tour jet. But if you're going to sit here in all of our damn meetings, Danny, and tell me that this is that we work for you, hang on a minute, man. Again, I was no star in the PGA Tour, and I have no disillusionment about my position there. But I loved it. I love the game. I'm still trying to be involved in it and do what's right for the game. What's going on here? What does all of this mean? Because I don't understand it.
I don't know if you saw this. LIV is allowing now trades in mid-season of individuals in their teams and extend the contracts to golfers in the final year of their deals.
How about that?
So here we go again with the guys that committed there. Now they're going to get an extension. What does that money look like?
D, so murky.
Yep.
Wait a minute, trading in the middle of the year? What? I read that. I almost had to read that twice, Danny, because I was like, what are they doing again? It just seems so confusing. And did you read about the relegation?
Oh, yeah.
So they're lopping off those guys. They're having this qualifier, for $200,000. And I'm like, Well, what do those guys earn if they get through? They didn't mention any of that. Let's say I go over there and I win their qualifier. So now I get to play live for a year. How many millions of dollars do I get guaranteed?
That's right. And what does that mean in terms of contract? What's it mean guaranteed, like you said? Because the other guys that made this jump got guaranteed money and then the opportunity to win these enormous purses.
Right.
So that's one of the big differential aspects of this, of what they do, considered to the PGA Tour, to what you look at now with LIV.
Right. And so where's the answer? Danny, honest to God, I don't know the answer to that. What is it? What are you going to do? Why is that not mentioned? Like, where's the transparency here? I don't get it. The whole thing just pisses me off.
A 22-year-old is the 6th player from South Korea to earn the LPGA Rookie of the Year. By the way, they started awarding this in 2015. 6 now from South Korea are the winners of the LPGA's Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
that's amazing to me.
This for you is a hell of a player. She's had a great rookie year. Folks, just go watch her. Pull her up on YouTube. It's pure.
They just hit the ball so pure, but the way that you've mentioned it to me before, technically sound.
Yeah.
And maybe it's just how they're groomed when they're little girls, 3, 4, and 5, get a club in their hands. And I think it was put to me that it's state-run golf.
Yep. Julie Inkster told us, remember?
Yeah.
She said the government's involved and they have these academies.
Homeschooled caddies.
It's
teachers are going with them.
Yeah, it's a all-encompassing program, right?
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
I don't know if I'd want to be a player in that, though.
I wouldn't.
But if you don't know any different about being a kid, what do you care?
When we were kids, it was like I put my golf clubs away. I want to play basketball.
Has this been too warm for you? You ready to put the clubs away?
I know. I mean, we're still playing.
It's awesome.
It's crazy. Where do we live? It's like this last week, we had one of the prettiest fall days ever.
It's amazing.
The golf course was in spectacular shape.
You were out in Norwood on Wednesday.
Yep,
that's what the hole in one was.
It was just beautiful.
The Charles Schwab Cup Championship last weekend. The PGA Tour champions. We got ourselves a winner, don't we?
Stephen Alker.
Yeah.
Wow, does he? Danny, I played with Stephen Alker.
He won early and then didn't win forever, it seemed like.
And this guy, I played with this guy. He's a New Zealander, and I played with him when he was trying to play on the PGA Tour, and he never could stay out on the tour and play much. And then we played a couple of when I was, obviously, probably 10, 12 years older than he is. When I was turning 49, 50, you get to go out with, if you have enough status, you get to go out on the Nationwide or the Corn Ferry and play. And I got paired with him a couple times, and he was in his 30s, and I was like, nope. It just didn't click. It just wasn't clicking.
Yeah.
But I mean, he had a game, obviously. But
sure,
and then now all of a sudden, I mean, he's just running the tables. It looks fantastic. Hats off to him. He's a great guy.
That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. We're coming to you on this Sunday morning from Show Me's in St. Charles. We're on remote. Little private party that we have before they open up their doors at 11 this morning. And again, all the NFL games, they have the Sunday NFL ticket, will be on many of the big screen TVs that they have here. It's also an all-day happy hour from 11 to midnight. 11 to midnight, they've got darts, they've got golden tea, they've got everything you want. Great menu. It's all at Show Me's. And again, the address is 2795 Veterans Memorial Parkway. It's also a big day for my partner here. He's going into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. We're going to talk a little bit about that later in the show. But coming up next, we're going to talk to Matt Minder. Now, if you're just joining us, who is Matt Minder? He is the founder of Amateur Players Tours, started here in St. Louis. Really should be a fun visit with him. And anybody then can compete in this tour, including me, which is hard to believe. What are you laughing at, Delsing?
I'm telling you, when you get to talk to him, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to want to sign up. I know you don't know the first thing about what this is.
You're going to sponsor me?
Hell yeah, I'll caddy for you.
Golf with Jay Delsing on my sleeve?
Yeah. Oh, you need a tattoo like on your cheek.
That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and this is brought to you by Doherty Business Solutions.
Doherty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, Mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Daugherty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Daugherty Business Solutions.
Get ready to watch the legends of golf up close when they compete at historic Norwood Hills Country Club right here in St. Louis. The Ascension Charity Classic will be back again with some of golf's greatest names: Steve Stricker, Padraig Harrington, John Daly, David Duval, Bernard Longer, Justin Leonard, David Toms, and more will compete returning September 3rd through the 8th. Visit AscensionCharityClassic.com for information.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
This is Chris Nagel. And you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
If you're in the market for a new or used vehicle, any make or model, then you need to visit the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. They are the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show. My daughter and I both drive vehicles supplied by Colin and the Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood. And the reason we have them is because we know we can trust them. They made the car buying experience painless and very easy. Their customer service is second to none. They provided my daughter with a loaner car when her Passat needed repairs. Every single step of the car buying experience was taken care of for us. You can reach Colin at 314-966-0303, and he will answer all of your questions and put your mind at ease. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood has new or pre-owned vehicles to be purchased or leased, whichever you prefer. Once you visit the Dean Team Volkswagen on Manchester and Kirkwood, you'll become a customer for life because they'll treat you like family. The Dean Team Volkswagen of Kirkwood, the official vehicle provider of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Golf with Jay Delsing rolls on a Sunday morning here on 101 ESPN. That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. A reminder that the doors here at Show Me's will open at 11. Closes at midnight. They've got the Sunday NFL ticket, the happy hour all day, and darts, Golden Tee, whatever game you want to watch, they have it on the big screens here at Show Me's in St. Charles. Let's bring into the conversation Matt Minder. Now, this should be fun because it's the Amateur Players Tour. It's based out of here in St. Louis. And, Matt, great to see you, and thanks for stopping by.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Matt, it's great to be here. Danny, we're here at Show Me's. I can't believe the TVs. Brett and his staff do a great job here. And Sundays, man, You better come on.
Well, we're just kicking it off on a Sunday morning, and they have opened up the doors a little early today to allow us to come in as we talk from 8 to 10. So they had a couple special parties that came in, but people love it here at Show Me's. I want to jump into the Amateur Players Tour. So what is this? Some people have heard about it, other people haven't. What is the tour that you're the founder of?
Yeah, absolutely. So the Amateur Players Tour, we're a series of events. We started in St. Louis, golf tournaments for amateurs. Nationwide now, but we started right here in St. Louis. We've got flighted stroke play events. We run over 800 events across the country each year and 20 events local in St. Louis.
So talk to us about your membership so we know that this whole thing originated in St. Louis, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So started, my dad and I actually started something as a side gig, and we were very fortunate during COVID. We brought in a business partner, had a chance to expand, and 3 years later, 5,200 members across the country, and we're continuing to grow as fast as we can.
How did you get the word out? How did people know all about this tour and a chance to compete, a chance to play?
A lot of it's been word of mouth, and so we've really had a focus on running great golf events. We want to, our whole calling sign. I was blessed. I know the last time I was on your show, we talked about and became friends over because I was the only one crazy enough to say I enjoyed the mini tour life. And
I was like, this guy's crazy. He's got to be our friend.
No kidding. You enjoyed that life.
I only did it for like 6 or 8 months. So if it went longer than that, it probably would have been bad.
6 or 8 months too long.
It was a great time though. You travel to different golf courses. You show up in a city. You learn a golf course. You're able to meet a ton of great people. And it's really what we've brought into the vision of what we're doing with APT. Like I've been blessed to be able to play a lot of high quality events, high quality amateur events. USGA type events, and you get treated just so differently when you show up at those marquee events, and the everyday golfer doesn't really have access to some of those experiences, and our mission is simply to bring that level of experience to the everyday golfer.
Danny, you and I love golf. This dude could sit right next to us. He loves the game. Are you still doing some of your rating and things like the golf rate? You're talking about wearing a lot of golf hats, man. Matt Minder, besides this, he's got a lot of golf on his plate.
Yeah, still doing the rating game. It's been fun. It's been a blessing to be able to travel the country the last couple of years and play some really cool spots.
So for people that don't know what the rating game is, what is it?
Right. So, the easiest way to explain it is anytime you're on Facebook and, Golf Week magazine or Golf Digest, they always post, come play the top 10 courses you can play in Missouri. And so I got in with a few guys a couple years ago, and I actually get a vote.
Is that right?
Yeah.
So do you look at it just from a public standpoint or just any golf course in that particular state? Or is it private and public?
Yeah, so there's so many different lists, like the rating we use looks at 10 different factors. So we're looking at everything from architecture to playability to looking at different types of holes. So we'll rate the par 3s, the par 4s, the par 5s. And my favorite, the walk in the park test. What's the place worthy of spending 4.5 hours out there? And there's some great places out here.
Okay, so who's on that list? Give us an idea.
Oh,
the state of Missouri. Come on, this should come right off the tip of your tongue.
I'll be honest. One of my favorite golf courses in the state of Missouri, I got to go Ozark National. I think is it jumped real quick to number 1 in all the lists. I was super skeptical of it because anytime something new jumps that quickly, it's got to be hype. But man, I've got to tell you, for those that haven't played, Ozark National is part of Big Cedar Lodge. It's a Coeur Crenshaw. It's in the mountains, but it's extremely walkable. Coeur Crenshaw's got a lot of elements I love. The chipping areas that roll into the tee boxes. It's just a really cool walk, but you're on top of the hills up there. And so the views are incredible on every hole, and it's not easy.
Ben, and you know what I love about Ben? What he does is he brings so much of nature, and he's such a he takes the land, Danny, that's there and uses it in really cool ways. And sometimes it gets a little squirrely, but for the most part, I love what Ben Crenshaw does.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a great spot on our schedule, by the way, this year.
Our guest is Matt Minder, and again, he is the founder of Amateur Players Tour, based out of St. Louis. So if somebody wants to play, walk us through how this works. How do they find you? How do they sign up? What happens?
Yeah, absolutely. The easiest way to find us is either on Facebook under Amateur Players Tour, or go to our website at amateurplayerstour.com. Membership for a season is $125. You're going to get that back in goodies and discounts and all that. We'll be announcing that for the 2024 season here soon. And once you join, you have access to play in any of our tournaments. There's 20 locally in St. Louis.
How about that? 20 events.
I'm trying to figure this whole thing out, man, because this is awesome. I may sign up, and I'm going to go there and I'm going to go lose, but at least I get some good goodies out of it. So I'm in. This thing's awesome, man.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Well, what's your handicap?
Just got done this past week. I'm about a 10-3.
So you're actually in the sweet spot of our tour. So our biggest division would be 8.5 to 13.4. We call it Division 3. And so it's actually really cool because, as a 10 handicap, you're not going out and trying to qualify for the Missouri AM or the U.S. Open or the U.S. AM. But we've got a division for all skill levels, and you fall right into the sweet spot.
So
it's
cool.
So much fun.
And they've got a Player of the Year thing, and Danny's daughter just got Missouri Player of the Year in high school. Maybe you can catch up with Avery and put a.
I knew you were going to go there. I knew you were going to go there. So I can so now you're telling me I can actually compete. There's a place I can actually compete.
I love it.
But that's the reality of it, isn't it?
Absolutely. That's a little cold, Jay. But
it's all right.
I don't know if I would use that in the marketing.
I'm used to it. So that's the thing, though. All skill levels have a chance to find a level to compete against others that are like them.
Yeah, absolutely. And the cool thing about it, so obviously we're very strict on following the rules of amateur status. We do believe in protecting the game of amateur golf, but we do pay all of our prizes. So there's prize pool for every tournament, trophies for the winner of each division, and our prize pool is all paid out in Visa gift cards, which is another huge benefit. So you can go play during the day, win some money in Visa gift card, take the wife out to dinner if you want to, or do whatever you want with it. So
that keeps the amateur status then.
Absolutely.
And they max that out, D. So you go all the way up to $1,000 for the USGA maximum. So it's a hell of a deal, though.
So tell me about the levels. I'm interested in my level, but I know there's other levels that are out there. So how does that all work, too, as you go along?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have 5 divisions, and then within those 5 divisions, we also have 5 senior divisions. So Division 1 is 3.4 handicaps and under, and then Division 2 would go 3.5 to 8.4. Division 3 is 8.5 to 13.4. Division 4 is 13.5 to 18.4, and then Division 5 would be 18.5 and above.
Interesting. Yeah. I find this really interesting because now I'm trying to figure out. Hold on here, Jay. I'm trying to figure this all out. So you pay to be in this, right? Okay. And then there's the travel associated with it if you want to travel around. I mean, this can become kind of expensive if you're not making money on the tour and you're just making Visa gift cards. So what is the catch? Like what? Just people just love to compete? Is that what this is all about?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing is obviously the competition.
You're following what I'm saying here.
Yeah. No, 100%. And we've designed the tour so you can play just locally. If playing local is your thing, you don't have a ton of travel. But if you want to travel and you want to go around and see places, for example, we have an event Memorial Day weekend. We've got a 54-hole at Streamsong. So you get to play red, black, and blue.
Streamsong's spectacular, world class.
Yeah.
You know all
in
about
3 days, and you can see our event price online. Which is it's obviously a high dollar. Not everybody's going to be able to do it. But if you price going and playing 54 holes and staying at Streamsong Resort, you're right there. You're not going to touch our tournament price.
No, you're right
there. It's not even close.
The other thing that's interesting, D, let's say you just wanted to play around here. 20 events, 20 different events at the local courses. There's going to be good courses. We're on the verge of confirming Norwood. We're not quite there yet, but we're throwing it out there. But there's some other.
You're teasing. I haven't even teased the guys out here yet.
Yeah. So we'll do that. But they're great courses, and the neat thing is, Matt, talk about the way you run these events because they're really. I've talked to several players that have competed, and they're really well run.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, we play, a lot of private courses in St. Louis, a lot of the great public courses around, and we try to run it the same as a tour event. So you're going to show up, there's going to be signage everywhere, walk in, an easy check-in to get everything set up for the day, head to the range, warm up. You're going to have the signage, you're going to show up to the first tee, we're going to have tent starter on the first tee. You're going to get your name announced.
This is like an event,
scorecard.
Man.
Absolutely.
You would love it. The way you
love it.
First of all, you love the game and you love to compete.
I love it.
You'd be on the first
I'm
tee. You'd be all
over this thing,
jacked
man.
up.
Now, what happens, though, if I get a 16? Okay, because I can take a 16 on a hole, too. So when I'm with Jay, every once in a while, I just tell Jay I'm out of the hole.
Yeah.
I can't do that here, can I?
Well, absolutely. One of the things that we've done is there's actually a lot of people that feel away. It's actually a big barrier to get into amateur golf because you worry, what happens if I get in a spot and
I get a 16 on a hole or something.
I'm out there. So divisions 3 through 5 on our tour all have a triple bogey max.
There you go.
There we
So
I'm in.
Problem solved.
I'm in.
if you get to a bad spot, man, just pick up, go to the next hole.
I think that's phenomenal.
Keep moving.
By the way, our guest, for people that maybe have just tuned in, we're at Show Me's on this Sunday morning, Matt Minder, and he is the founder of Amateur Players Tour, based right out of St. Louis. There is also a charitable component to what you guys are doing, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. In the middle of last season, or 2 seasons ago now, 2022, we announced a partnership nationally with Folds of Honor, and so we're working with them. They're a charity of choice. That doesn't even sound right because it's so much more. But honestly, the most proud I've ever been. We're getting ready to announce. We'll announce it first here officially. But we were able to raise $100,000 for them this season.
That's fantastic. $100,000 to Folds of Honor.
I just ran into Doug Mitchell, who runs the local chapters, and we got to get him on the show. You know, we've had Noonan on the Lieutenant Colonel Dan Rooney, who's fighter
Amazing.
pilot and PGA of America member and a rock star. But I mean, this stuff just goes on and on and on. And they've donated, I don't know, 45,000 scholarships to
roughly. I think it's about 45 to 50,000.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
Isn't that amazing?
It's great.
To the children of the fallen heroes.
Yeah, well, the thing that's crazy, I don't know if you've seen the news that came out. They just got, obviously, the Gold Star rating, the 4 out of 4. 90% of their funds go directly to scholarships. But I've got to tell you, the thing I love about Lieutenant Colonel, you left out, phenomenal human being.
Yes. True.
And the thing that I love about Folds of Honor, for those who are out there thinking of getting involved in an organization, they will celebrate the $10 donation the same as they will somebody that gives $1 million. I mean, they understand what's going on, and their hearts are in the right place. And we couldn't be more honored to be partnered with them.
Why did you guys decide to partner with them? What was there a story behind it, or just your love of country, that kind of thing?
You've
what was
always
it?
kind of had that in the back of your mind, hadn't you, bro? When we talked, I remember when we first met, we talked a little bit about
It's
that.
actually an interesting story. So when my business partner, Jody, who you've met, when we started the tour, we knew that we wanted to have a component to give back to the community. That was something that was huge, but one of the things we did that is actually Jody's advice that I thought was really wise is the first year, we just wanted to travel around every chapter, and we wanted to meet our members, and we wanted to see, if we were going to do something that has a legitimate, significant impact, we needed our members' buy-in. We couldn't just go in and say, hey, our charity is going to be X, right? And, we've been fortunate. What we found is we have so many military members and veterans that play on our tour, and so many that have been impacted by what Folds of Honor does. And we were actually really fortunate. Last year we had, or 2 years ago now, we had our nationals in Nashville. And Jody's childhood best friend is John Rich.
Wow.
And so we brought him on to talk about Nashville, and the next thing we know, we start talking about charities. So, well, I've got somebody for you, and it's kind of crazy how things work out, right? And just how things set up. And next thing we know, we're working with Folds of Honor, and it's been an honor.
So if I win in St. Louis, then what happens? Do I get to compete against somebody in Arkansas and Illinois, and how does that all work nationwide?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have just a local player of the year that's just St. Louis oriented.
I'm already thinking about winning.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I got to get my game plan ready.
He's a baller right
Yeah,
here.
and so every tournament you play in, you earn points. So it's
Okay.
similar to a FedEx Cup system. So we have a local player of the year, but we also have a national player of the year that you can
So
compete
cool.
for, and you earn what we call priority exemptions into some of the bigger events. And so the better you play at the local level, the easier it is to get into the big events that sell out fast, because you're going to get first rights to it.
Dude, you make it to the Nationals, and I'll come down and caddy for you.
That would be the best ever. I want video of it. I want pictures of it. That would be tough on you, boy.
I know.
That's
I
a
know.
lot of walking for you when I hit it
know.
left, right.
And when I try to
duff
tell him,
one.
here's what he's like, don't help me. We're out here to have fun.
what I
I don't
always
want to
tell
let
you.
you. He's like, you're out here to have fun. I don't want a lesson today.
Oh, we're going to have to get the cameras rolling for that.
Absolutely.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
Hey,
That
Matt,
would be so
before
much
we
fun.
wrap it up, let's just find out the best place to go to find out about what you're doing, even to make a donation, but for those that are out there, and I'm assuming women as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So men, women, what's the best place to go?
Yeah, amateurplayerstour.com has all the information, from information on the tour, information about Folds of Honor. There's a donate link directly on our website. But I think it's important you ask about women. And so women play in the same division as men. And we set up the golf course where the women play the same rating and slope for women as the men's tees, which keeps everything equitable within the divisions.
That's where the rating part comes in really, really handy. And that's unusual the way you do that compared to any other competitions that I've ever seen.
Right.
It's really super cool.
Yeah, it's simply different. I mean, the normal is to say, hey, you're going to get 800 yards or whatever. And that doesn't necessarily, like, one of the things that we do, to answer your question about what to make it a special event, we take really extraordinary care in how we set up a golf course. And so paying attention, if we know that a 65-year-old, guy who's a 20 handicap, he's not going to be able to carry a goalie that's 230 yards.
Yeah.
And so paying attention to some of those kind of things and doing a lot of custom setup through the golf course to try to make it fair and enjoyable.
Before we let you go, we got to talk a little bit about Global Golf. That's a huge get for you guys. I know that they're the presenting sponsor. They came on, a year and a half ago or so. But talk a little bit about, if anyone's out there listening, they want to get involved, to think how Global Golf fits into this thing.
Yeah, Global Golf has been huge for us. They've obviously sponsored our National Player of the Year race, and so they've definitely donated some prizes, but they're offering a $50 credit to every member that joins. And so $125 for your membership. Global Golf's going to send you a credit for $50 to use on globalgolf.com.
Nobody needs golf balls, do they, D? Nobody needs golf balls.
And for those that don't know Global Golf, you can literally buy anything. It's like they're the largest retailer. The largest online retailer of golf in the world. So,
hey, awesome to have you here. Again, one more time, best way to get a hold of you and to compete.
Yeah, absolutely. To go to our website at amateurplayerstour.com, or you can find us on Facebook by searching Amateur Players Tour.
Thanks for jumping in. We appreciate it.
Hey, thank you.
Great to be with you, Matt.
It's early on a Sunday morning, but we're at Show Me's, and the party's just getting going. NFL Sunday right around the corner. And again, here at Show Me's, they have a happy hour all day. It opens at 11. We were invited to an early party here at Show Me's, but you can show up at 11. It's located at 2795 Veterans Memorial Parkway, and we're just talking golf out here. That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and this is Golf with Jay Delsing. It is the CarShield Studios on remote, presented by Daugherty Business Solutions.
I'd like to welcome I Promise to the Golf with Jay Delsing show. What is I Promise, you ask? It's a St. Louis-based company with the most clinically backed eye health performance supplement brand with over 20 years of eye health expertise and nutrition science. It's all natural, and their cutting-edge science and technology has helped I Promise forge many exciting new golf partnerships, like with the PGA of America, the Titleist Performance Institute, the Ledbetter Academy, and many more. Perhaps the most exciting component for me is that all of this new improvement is measurable. I can tell you that in my case, my initial score was around 0.25, and after taking the I Promise product for 2+ months, my score soared to almost 0.60. It had more than doubled. I can now read the greens better because I'm not really dealing with as much glare and trying to manage that, and I squint much less when I'm playing golf. And you don't have to take it from me. Check out what Padraig Harrington has to say about this product. He is playing some of the best golf of his career in his early 50s, and he swears I Promise has helped improve his short game. Check out I Promise. That's I Promise, the company helping us to see better, play better, and live better. Visit them at ipromise.com.
Hi, this is Adam Betts from Family Golf and Learning Center. At FGLC here in Kirkwood, we feature a double-decker driving range, 2 large grass tees with Tahoma Bermuda grass. You want to work on your short game? We have a short game area too, which features a 20,000 square foot green, 3 bunkers, and Zoysia surrounds. Also at Family Golf and Learning Center, don't forget about our 9-hole par 3 course, the indoor TrackMan simulators, and our performance center. If you're looking for the best golf instruction, regardless of skill, we can help. Find out more at FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com. Family Golf and Learning Center. We make St. Louis better at golf.
Do you remember the golden rule? I'm sure you do, but just in case, it goes like this. Treat people the way that you'd like to be treated. At People's National Bank, that one statement is the cornerstone of what this bank is all about. Locally owned, with 23 locations in Southern Illinois and the metropolitan St. Louis area, People's National Bank parlays a robust menu of commercial or personal banking services, you could possibly need with a friendly yet hardworking Midwestern attitude. Maybe you just want to do business with a bank whose entire team lives in the same neighborhoods as we do. If you're like me and doing business with someone you trust is important to you, then People's National Bank is the bank for you. Jason Rantham, local president, is here for you to call, and he'll answer any questions you may have. His personal cell is 314-974-2243. You can also find us online at peoplesnationalbank.com. People's National Bank is here for all of your banking needs.
Hey, St. Louis, Eddie McVeigh here from Maggie O'Brien's. When you head downtown for a concert or Cards or Blues game, and now for the St. Louis City soccer game, please come see us at Maggie O'Brien's before and after your event. Take our shuttle to and from, or stay in-house and watch your favorite team on our multiple high-def TVs. We look forward to seeing you soon at one of our 2 locations in Sunset Hills on South Lindbergh or downtown at the corner of Market and 20th Street. Union Station is next to us.
Okay, so you know Marcone is the largest distributor of GE parts in North America. Check. You know about their support for backstoppers, first responders, and our men and women in the military. Check that also. Well, here's their latest community venture. It's called Wreaths Across America. This year, Marcone will place 1,000 Christmas wreaths on the gravesites of our fallen military heroes in 10 different cemeteries around the country, from Dallas to Delaware, Western New York to Houston, New Jersey to right here at Jefferson Barracks. Each of these locations and more will have wreaths delivered and respectfully placed on a gravesite. Remember the fallen, honor those who serve, and teach the next generation the value of freedom. That's the mission of the Wreaths Across America program. So join the Golf with Jay Delsing show and Marcone and sponsor a wreath, volunteer, or partner with us to support our military. Saturday, December 16th is National Wreaths Across America Day. So get involved. That's Marcone and Wreaths Across America.
We're back at Show Me's. This is Golf with Jay Delsing on a Sunday morning. We just wrapped up our visit with Matt Minder, and we're brought to you by Daugherty Business Solutions, coming to you from the CarShield Studios. That was a fun visit with Matt. I got to be honest, I had absolutely no idea what this league and what this was all about with what he's trying to do with the game of golf.
And what'd you think?
It's pretty awesome. I mean,
isn't it cool?
I want to compete. You're right.
I know.
I want to compete.
And the thing that I've heard from the folks that have been in these tournaments, Danny, is the way they're run is extremely well. So there's nothing worse than getting into an event like that and you're kind of like, what's going on? Who's in charge? It's kind of a gong show. And I've heard really great things about the Amateur Players Tour. And so hats off to him. 5,200 members in 3 years or whatever it is. It's crazy.
It's I guess from social media has exploded. And then when people compete in that, they spread it to their neighbor, they spread it to their buddy, and they're saying, hey, you want to come compete in this? It's like a real tournament. You want to feel like you're competing. There's competition. Hey, go for it.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what's so great about the game. When you got a handicap system, and look, Matt's in the weeds on this stuff, as he was telling you about. He's got that. They look after the handicaps. They monitor the handicaps. So there's no monkey business going on with the handicap systems, and we've all experienced that to one degree or the other.
I've never done that.
You have not. You've done a lot of squirrely things. You have never done. I can't even get you to pick up a 3-foot putt.
Now let's think about this. Why would I want to do that? Why do I want to lower my handicap if I'm not truly what I am?
Yeah, but you're also not throwing the game either.
That's true.
Deliberately. Look, we've seen that happen before.
Oh, I saw you get a little upset this summer with somebody that's no longer invited to play in your foursome.
Yeah, well,
it happens, doesn't it?
Things happen.
So St. Louis runs over 20 events a season, and they do play at some of the best facilities. We didn't get into that a lot. Do you know some of the facilities that they're primarily playing at here in St. Louis? Yeah, they're going to play. I know they just signed the Orchards. They used to play at Aberdeen. They play at Annbriar. They play at they played at Norwood in the past. They're going to try to play there again. They're in.
the hardest thing is the availabilities of the golf courses, because there's so many outings that the clubs are running all the time, so some of the places just are not available because there's no open dates.
You mentioned ratings with him. How does one go about ratings? Like, what are you looking at? What in particular qualifies as part of the equation to make a rating for a golf course?
Yeah, you basically go out and you play, and you try to experience all aspects of that golf course, that area that you go through. The clubhouse, you go through the driving range, and you're just trying to, I think Matt mentioned this, the overall experience. Is this a place that you're willing to walk around for 4 hours and check it out and do that sort of thing? And then what's the playability of the course like? So you've got to understand the game to a higher level, because like he said, a 67-year-old guy that's got a 21 handicap is not going to be able to carry if he goes to hole number 14 and there's a 245-yard forced carry, he's sunk. He's never going to be able to get off the tee, D. So, I mean, all of that stuff goes into play. You were talking about golf courses. He's also in touch with Joe Schwent and the Country Club of St. Albans, is interested in hosting an event. And so, there's just a lot of cool things. I think they played at Winghaven. So just some, where our buddy Nathan Carnes is out there. He's a rock star. So, there's just a lot that goes into it, and you need to – the guy loves the game. I mean, he just loves the game. He just wants to talk. We stopped talking with him. He's still talking about it, and here's – he'll get into the weeds with us, and, we're nerds. We like it.
In terms of not the private courses, but the public courses, let's call it the metro area.
Yeah.
Where is St. Louis in the metro St. Louis area on the map of golf? I mean, in terms of the public courses that anybody can play, what are people saying about the opportunities to play golf at the various courses here around town?
So it's interesting, Danny. It's a great question, because when we were kids, and I'm 10, 12 years older than you are, when we were kids, there were so few public courses for us to play. Forest Park was the main public course in town, right? But there was, if it wasn't a country club, there was slim pickings. I mean, there was just not a lot. What we have experienced in the last 25 years, I mean, there was always Normandy and those sort of things, but what we've experienced is the Annbriers of the world, the Aberdeens, Peevely Farms, the Players Club, Walters Golf Management out west has Golf Club of Wentzville, Links of Dardenne, the Missouri Bluffs is a great public golf course. Those sort of things have all come up. You got Gateway National, which is just on the east side, but it's a great public facility. So our public golf courses, we can stand toe-to-toe with anybody.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing. We are originating from the Show Me's out in St. Charles. Again, it's a big NFL Sunday coming up. Write down this address, 2795 Veterans Memorial Parkway, and that's where the Show Me's is. It'll open up at 11. They've got the Sunday NFL ticket, happy hour all day, and we're just happy to be here. A little private party for us to make sure that we broadcast Golf with Jay Delsing, presented by Doherty Business Solutions. You mentioned Joe Schwent. We just saw him a little over a week ago, and it was a great evening. The Metropolitan Amateur Golf Association, their year-round yearly awards, and Peter Weaver racked up a lot of awards.
Wow, he sure did.
And
first of all, shout out to the Weaver family, great golfers.
Yeah,
there's his brother Tom, great guy. How about the way that he handled himself through his victory speech, through talking to him, Danny, off the air and off of the.
He called me Mister. I was just floored.
I know. But just to Earl and. I forget Mrs. Weaver's name, but just terrific job. And he's a senior at Villanova. He also went to your son Luke. Kind of looked up to Peter.
That's
because
right.
I think Luke was a freshman at Priory when Luke was a senior, or when Peter was a senior there, and your son Luke has kind of always looked up to Peter.
Yeah, well spoken. I thought some of the acceptance speeches for Players of the Year, the various categories, they got really emotional. And I don't think people understand, first of all, just how hard this game is. And if you're going to dedicate time to the game and play at that level, it is so hard. And Jay, you played at the highest level, and these folks are playing at a high level here locally, amateurs. But man, it's so emotional that you see the emotions come out of them when they realize, man, I put together this summer and I'm being recognized. I mean, they're breaking down, man.
I know. And I mean, I broke down too when you asked me a couple questions. There's something that, I think you get your heart broken so often from this game.
I think that's it.
And then all of a sudden you realize, like, I did it. I mean, I really accomplished something pretty cool.
It's the culmination of the tough aspects of playing the game.
And you fought through it, and
Yes.
and you wound up on the other side somehow, and it worked out.
It's amazing.
It is, and this game just doesn't give it to you enough, Danny. We're all just renting it, and sometimes we don't get to rent it long enough. It just leaves us the next day.
All right, we're going to visit with Jeremy Rutherford coming up. Now, Jeremy has been a lifelong friend for me. I actually grew up not too far away from Jeremy, so he had family around my house as a kid, and we've known each other as kids. I don't know if you knew that.
I did not know that. No.
Jeremy is a great guy.
He is a great guy.
We weren't very close or anything as kids, but then we, eventually got into this media business together. We actually covered the Arena Football League together.
Wow.
That's how far this goes back.
I love it. I love it.
We actually covered the night that Kurt Warner came through St. Louis, and we had no idea who this Kurt Warner guy was, until...
When he was playing arena football, he came through St. Louis. Was he with what team? The Iowa team?
Barnstormers.
Yeah, the Barnstormers, okay.
And we actually, Jeremy and I, about a year ago, went back and looked at his game story, and he writes about Kurt Warner.
Yeah.
Because we forgot. We were like, I wonder if the St. Louis team played the Kurt Warner team, and we went back and looked, and sure enough, he had a huge game.
Danny, I remember Dick Vermeil. I'll never forget this. Trent Green goes down with those two horrific knee injuries in the preseason.
Rodney Harrison got him on the side.
And Dick Vermeil says, we can win with this guy, Kurt Warner.
We will rally around Kurt Warner.
Yep.
We will play good football. And everybody thought, who the hell is Kurt Warner?
Who's Kurt Warner?
But anyway, so JR, though, graduated from that, covered the Blues with the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, now working at The Athletic. And one of the things we do with your show is we bring in all different walks of life sports just to talk about sports, kind of tie it back into golf if we can.
Yeah.
But JR also has written a couple books, so I want to get into that, and it should be fun to visit with him because he's a really well-versed media guy, because not only is he writing, but he's also doing a lot on the air with 101 ESPN. So looking forward to visiting with JR.
JR does the fill-in stuff on 101, and he just does a great job. He's such a likable guy. I've read the Bernie autobiography. I know he wrote that book, and it's just really an awful lot of fun to when you get to read guys' stuff, and then you get to kind of finally meet him, and it's going to be fun.
So we're looking forward to visiting with Jeremy Rutherford of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, formerly of the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and now of The Athletic. We're coming to you from Show Me's, 2795 Veterans Memorial Parkway, and this will open up at 11. We're at a private party on this Sunday morning. We'll visit with Jeremy Rutherford coming up. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Powers Insurance and Risk Management is a family-owned local business that's been helping our community for over 200 years. In the always confusing world of insurance, Powers Insurance provides clarity, exceptional service, and the latest in cutting-edge products to deliver the highest quality in property and casualty coverage, as well as strategic planning consultation services. Powers Insurance and Risk Management will partner with you. That's right, partner with you to customize the right coverage for you and your family. Tim Davis, the Chief Operations Officer, will personally sit down and talk you through the ins and outs of your policies. They are experts at helping you control your workplace expenses and helping to guarantee the safety of you and your employees and their needs. You can visit them at powersinsurance.com. That's powersinsurance.com for all of your insurance needs.
For the best in Italian cuisine in St. Louis, look no further than Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield. It's traditional Italian cooking, and their best ingredient, it's their tradition. It's cooking like Paul's grandmother used to make and like his mother still prepares today. There are no corners cut at Paul Manno's. From greeting you at the door to the pasta you'll share with your family, Paul Manno's is committed to bringing you their very best anytime you share a meal at their place. It's Paul Manno's, located in Chesterfield.
Hey, this is Jay Delsing, and we golfers are always looking for ways to improve our games. For me, That means I want the very best and the very latest in equipment and in technology. The place for me is Pro-Am Golf in Brentwood. Tom DeGrand opened Pro-Am Golf Center in 1975, and ever since then, he and his family have provided St. Louis with the finest in golf equipment, instruction, and the latest in the ever-changing world of golf technology. Whether you are a scratch golfer looking to find the latest in rangefinders or a newcomer looking to find your first set of clubs, Pro-Am Golf has just what you're looking for. You say you're looking to get yourself custom fitted for a new set of clubs? You need to call TJ. He has fit me personally, and he is the best in town. If you mention my name, CJ will take 50% off the already low fitting price. So if you need anything from golf balls to a new pair of shoes or a lesson from Tom, who, by the way, has been helping St. Louisans play better golf for over 45 years, Pro-Am Golf in Brentwood is the place for you. You can also visit them at proamusa.com. That's Pro-Am Golf.
WXOS HD1 East St. Louis 101 ESPN is driven by Auto Centers Nissan, home of the lifetime warranty and 30-day return.
Redbird Heating and Cooling sponsors the Veterans Vocational Apprenticeship Program. Jed, the CEO and former Marine, will teach, mentor, and sign off on educational and mechanical work hours to help you get fully licensed while you work and get paid by the company. What a great way to launch your career as a fully licensed HVAC specialist. Visit redbirdhvac.com. That's Redbird Heating and Cooling.
This is Golf with Jay Delsing. We're halfway home and it's time to make the turn. Let's get back to Jay and Dan.
Golf with Jay Delsing on a Sunday morning rolls on. We're coming to you from Show Me's, and the location we're at, 2795 Veterans Memorial Parkway. It's early on a Sunday morning. They open up the doors for us, little private party going on, but the doors officially will open for NFL football beginning at 11. It'll close at midnight. They have the Sunday NFL ticket. Happy hour is all day. Darts,
How about that?
golden tea, anything you want, they got it here at Show Me's.
All day.
All day, my man, so buckle up. That's all I can tell you is buckle up. We've got Jeremy Rutherford from The Athletic, longtime beat writer from the St. Louis Blues. You hear him on 101 ESPN all the time. That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. JR, thanks for coming in. We appreciate it.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Great to be on your show, guys. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, it's great to have you on. Last time we talked a little bit, you wrote Bernie Federko's biography, and just love your stuff, man.
I appreciate it, Jay. And I'll never forget and get an email from Triumph Publishing in Chicago, and they said, would you like to write an autobiography? And they said, how about a Bernie Federko and Al McInnes, somebody like that? So I shot Bernie a phone call, and I think the way he interpreted it was that he was going to write the book. And he said,
Not
Jeremy.
a chance. Not a chance.
He said, Jeremy, I don't think so, bud. I love you, but no, I think I'll pass on writing the autobiography. I said, Bernie, listen, I'm going to write the book. I just need to sit down with you and interview you a few times for the book. And Jay, I'll never forget, I've met you a handful of times, and Dan, as you know, great guy here sitting next to us. But I'll never forget, I'd get out to Bernie's house. I just got the email from the editor saying, this thing's due in 2 months. Like, you better pick it up. And I'd get out to Bernie's house, and he'd say, yeah, JR, on the book today? Yeah, no, we're going to lunch with Delsing and Turnbull and a few other guys. So we'd go out to lunch for 2 or 3 hours, come back, Bernie'd say, okay, see you later, bud, and we'd take off. Made no progress on the book.
That sounds like Bernie to a T, doesn't it?
Absolutely. We used to do that all the time. Dale Turvey used to kind of sponsor those lunches, and Dale liked to get out of the office. You and the rest of us were just kind of goofing off, and we're like, yeah, hell yeah, we'll goof off for the rest of the day with you.
How much fun was it to write that book, by the way?
It was phenomenal. I mean, first of all, Dan, you and I have known each other for a long time. I grew up watching those Blues teams. I mean, Bernie Federko was on my TV like he was a lot of people in the St. Louis area. and you go to the games, and now all of a sudden I'm trading phone calls with him about writing his autobiography. You're talking to his lovely wife Bernadette and his children about, this is a book that's going to be around in his family, and his grandkids and great-grandkids will be able to read about Grandpa. I think that was one of the biggest reasons he wound up saying yes to the book, was to kind of have that memoir for the kids. But to go out to his house and just let that recorder go for about 5 hours and let him tell the stories that I was familiar with, but I didn't know all the details, you just couldn't top it. It was like a blues fantasy camp is really what it was. I do have one little anecdotal story. Is one time we were out and probably went to lunch again with Jay here, and I noticed that Federico did not have a screen protector on his cell phone. And I said, Bernie, who doesn't have a screen protector on their cell phone? He goes, JR, I played 10, 11 years in National Hockey League, a center. I got the best hands you've ever seen. And I'm like, okay, whatever, to each their own. A week later, I go out there to interview him again. Screen cracked.
You're not going to find a better human being. I mean, obviously an unbelievable hockey player, NHL caliber hockey player, but what a great guy Bernie Federico is.
He's amazing. He's one of the nicest people, and he also loves the game of golf. This is a golf show, so we'll mix in a little golf, but we always like to get people from other walks of life outside of golf to talk about the sports that they're into or what they do for a living. And in this case, Jeremy Rutherford from The Athletic, who covers the St. Louis Blues, and a remarkable, and I mean it, remarkable job of covering the Blues. It is interesting. Golf does tie into hockey because hockey players love to play golf. They're off season, typically summertime, unless they make a long run in the playoffs. And for the Blues, they've had some hell of a golfers over the years because they just haven't gone deep in the playoffs. So there's been a lot of that where it ties in one to the other.
It really does. And now that you mention that, I sit back and I try to think, and golf and hockey are just tied hand in hand, especially with these hockey players. I mean, I go back to, and I guess this is probably something that no Blues fan wants to remember, but when Eric Johnson was involved in the golf cart accident.
Just thinking that, yes.
And tore up his knee, and, the Post-Dispatch editor at the time calls me. I was covering the Blues for the Post-Dispatch, and, hey, head out to the Ozarks and find out the story. What happened here with the golf cart incident with Eric Johnson? And, I don't know how far we want to get in the weeds here, but
I heard all about that.
I went out and found some things that, were probably true, but then you talk to some of the players and we got different stories. I will say this. I always wanted to have a good relationship with the captain at the time. You always want to have a good relationship. I called Eric Brewer. I said, Brewer, listen, I'm out at the golf course. He said, you're kidding me. They sent you out there? I said, yeah. So what am I going to find? He goes, you're going to find nothing. It was an accident. It was no big deal. It was an accident. I said, okay, and I hung up. 5 minutes later, I guess after he talked to a couple teammates, he calls me back. Okay, you're going to find a busted-up golf cart, but we wrote a check for it.
Yeah.
And, it was an accident, though. So,
yeah.
So who knows what happened there. But, yeah, I mean, you can't walk in the Blues locker room without hearing a couple players talk about, the round they had the day before. Kevin Hayes, when the Blues made that trade, I texted the guy 3 days in a row trying to get him for an interview, and every single time he was on the course.
Well, at the Century Charity Classic, you had Robert Thomas when you emceed this year, Danny. When I did it last year, Ryan O'Reilly was out there.
Both years.
Chiefs,
Chris Pronger.
Just the best. Prongs, it's fantastic. The golfers, the hockey players love to play golf, and their hand-eye is ridiculous.
I was going to say, who's the best you've ever seen? I always hear the wild stories, everybody bragging, but you're there.
Brett Hall, for the most part, is probably the best. He gets a little wonky around the green sometimes. Like we were just talking about the last segment, when Danny plays, JR, he putts every putt out. Hully, not so much. We'll just leave it at that. But Hully can hit it, and Hully loves the game. Like, he's into the weeds on the tech. Hey, Danny, I got to tell you about this shaft. And you're like, Hully, I don't give a damn about this shaft. And he'll say, hit this. I'm like, I don't want to hit it.
Well, the other thing, too, the guys all follow the tournaments, too.
Yeah.
Or they have, their own leagues with fantasy golf, so to speak. And that's something that when you're in a locker room, you're in a clubhouse, these guys are always doing things that are outside their own sport. Not that they're bored with their sport, but they're intrigued with the other sports. I'm sure you find that all the time.
Oh, yeah, you hear about the fantasy football all the time. That's another one. But, yeah, the golf's a big one, too. And I've never played the fantasy golf or in terms of betting on which 5 guys could win the tournament, but I hear a lot about it, on the bus, on the plane, in the locker room. They're talking about it all the time. But I do remember you bring up Brett Hall. correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like the Post-Dispatch sent me out to a tournament where he was trying to qualify. Did he go
absolutely.
out?
He was out at the Bluffs.
He sure did.
I think it was
maybe.
out at the Bluffs. I think that's
Was it
where
the
it was.
Bluffs?
Yep. It was like at that time, wasn't it a Nike Tour
It
event?
was. Actually, he wasn't qualifying. He was in the field. They put him in the field, and it was. He said to me, I think he only made it through 27 holes, and he's like, I can't do this. I can't walk down the fairways with the guys I'm trying to beat. And I think he swept through like 3 shirts the first day. It was nothing like he had ever been used to. And it takes forever. Especially when you're used to playing with your buddies. The 3 of us go out and play, and we're going to play in 3 hours and 3 hours, 30 minutes. You go to a tournament, like you noted just at the Ascension this year, it's a 5-hour round at minimum, and there's a lot of time to kill. And if you're not really plugged into how to handle the mental side of it, it'll just eat you alive. It's tough.
Holly's poor caddy having the bag and also the cooler.
Oh, yeah. lot to keep track of. It's a lot to keep track of.
Who's been the best guy you've covered? Who do you love covering? And it could be now, or it could be all your years of doing this. Who's been the most fun or the best guy?
Yeah, and I'll get to a name or two here, but I want to set it up by saying this. Even though the Blues had not won a Stanley Cup until 2019, to me it was one of the most tradition-rich franchises in sports. I guess let's focus on hockey here for a moment, where there was just such a culture and characters, beginning with Bobby Plager and the rest of them, that when I started covering the St. Louis Blues, first of all, it was a fantasy for me to be from St. Louis. Dan, you know that drill. And, and to be able to cover the St. Louis Blues, but kind of to be adopted in a little bit. And I realize with the media, you're separate. You're not one of them. I'm perfectly fine with that. But, they just accepted you and had time for you. Sit down. If you wanted to do an interview, hey, let's do an interview. I got all the time in the world for you. And I guess over the years, you come to respect guys like a Barrett Jackman, who I know that you're very friendly with, Dan, and we mentioned Federico. Bobby Plager got to know really, really well. But when I sit here and talk about guys that, I love to cover, I think of probably different names than you would think of. I think guys like Chris Mason, the goaltender, I remember he lost 6-0 one time, and I had a freelance assignment that I had to talk to him about, and the only chance to get him before the assignment was due was after that 6-0 loss. Oh. And so I walk in the locker room. He just got drilled. He's taking off his pads. Hey, can I talk to you about, big picture?
I bet he was great, though,
He was great. He said, yeah, sure, bud, whatever you need, whatever you got. Cam Jansen, who we all know here in St. Louis, I bring his name up for this reason. I'll never forget it. He was out with a concussion one time, and he said that he had to go through a baseline test to come back. And I didn't know, I got to be honest here, I didn't know what a baseline test was at first. So I said, explain it to me. He said, well, they give you a test at the beginning of the year. They make you spell a bunch of words so that if you do get concussed, you got to come back and then spell those words, among other things, to be able to prove that you're back to normal and who you were. And he looks at me, he goes, I didn't know how to spell cat before I got concussed.
I love it. That's
so
spoken
good.
like a true hockey player, though. Those guys are so personable. I think they're the most personable athletes in sports. I really do.
100%.
And I'll give you one other. I mean, who can forget this now? I mean, Keith Kachuk is just right up there at the top. He misses a breakaway attempt, wide open breakaway attempt one night. We walk into the locker room. We walk up to Keith Kachuk. We look at him, and he's like, and he puts his mouth up to my microphone, and he goes, the car rode good, the car rode good. Like right out of Talladega Nights, right? So, just the stuff that they come up with.
Man.
Yeah,
they're all
they
characters.
And they're so down to earth. I think what you were saying in terms of professional athletes, from my experiences, the hockey players, hands down, they're just grounded. They're in the family. They're into having a little fun here and there, and they love to compete.
You wrote also, and Jeremy Rutherford is our guest. You hear him all the time on 101 ESPN, and also writing for The Athletic, reading his work there. He's live with us here at Show Me's on this Sunday morning for Golf with Jay Delsing. You also wrote 100 Things Blues Fans Should Know and Do Before They Die. I love the book. I think it's amazing. You had to do a little rewording with it, and it's some new chapters when they won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, when they won the Cup.
That was amazing, man. It must have been fun. I'm sure kind of like truly a labor of love to do that.
Yeah, it was so much fun. I'll never forget my dad called me a couple times. What chapter are you on? There's 100 chapters. What chapter are you on? 38. You better get cooking.
Oh, my gosh.
But you know what I did there that was so much fun is they wanted 100 different stories, obviously, hence the title of the book. And so I took out probably 10 or 12 people to lunch, including the Bobby Plagers, some of the Bernie Federkos, even some of the writers from the Post-Dispatch, Dave Luking, Tom Wheatley, and hey, just help me with the stories. So I want to come up with 200 stories and then narrow it down to 100. So many good ones. I'll give you a couple quick anecdotes here. I'll never forget Bobby Plager. He tells a story where he says
He's the best. Oh.
His rookie year in the NHL was his best year. He put 5 people in the hospital. He said, I tell you, Jeremy, it was my best year in the NHL. 5 people he put in the hospital. He said, I put 1 in there with a broken knee, and I put 4 in the maternity ward.
Is that not typical Bobby, though?
So good.
And then he told another where he says, I think the Blues are playing in Boston. And remember when the benches were on the opposite side? He said that Noel Picard was so exhausted from a shift that he skated to the wrong side of the ice and sat down on the Boston bench. All of a sudden, the players are elbowing him and, hey, you goofball, get out of here. So he climbs the boards and he skates over and he gets whistled for a too many men on the ice penalty now because there's 6 skaters out on the ice and then Plager had to serve that had to kill off that penalty. So
you were very close to Bobby, weren't you?
Yeah, he was great. And again, that kind of goes back to what I said a minute ago is that they're just so fun-loving, friendly, warm people. Where a lot of people were close to Bobby. That's just how he made you feel. So I was no different than anybody else. But as a reporter, to have Mr. Plager come up behind you during a game and just you'd hear the grumble behind you. Like, yeah, and you know it, Dan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'd be at my laptop watching the game, and I did not know he was standing behind me. And all of a sudden I'd hear something like, 32 needs to pass it up the boards in that situation. You know, he needs to...
I heard a phenomenal Bobby Plager story, JR. I don't know if you heard it or not, but he's partnering up with Noel Picard, who knew no English, and they come down, Danny, and there was a 3-on-2, and they had a miscommunication, and the other team scored. And so Bobby said, listen, we got to get this thing figured out. You know, and Noel says, no problem. He goes, when they come down next time, if I yell out a color, I'll take the puck carrier. If I yell out a fruit, you take the guy. So Bobby's like, whatever, just so we get some sort of plan. So they get another 3-on-2, and Noel yells, orange.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, you know, those old school stuff, guys, it is absolutely the best. And unfortunately, you know, you don't get much of that anymore.
No,
Is that changed more even from, because you've been doing this over 20 years, is it changed more from when you started to what you have now?
Unfortunately, yes. I got to be honest with you here.
It's more business-like now, isn't it?
It's totally more business. And listen, anything I say here, it's not to slight the guys that are in there now because, you know, they've done amazing, incredible work over the years to get to where they're at. And part of it is not their fault. You know, it's today's day and age. It's social media. It's the scrutiny. It's the cameras. It's the videos. It's all that stuff. But, yes, I mean, you could walk into the Blues locker room during the Keith Tkachuk, Dallas Drake, Doug Waite era, which, Danny, you're familiar with. And you know, I'd walk in there and Tkachuk would say, what are you doing for Thanksgiving? You gonna eat 4 turkeys, Rutherford? You know, but now you walk in there.
Now you could ask him that now.
Totally, yeah. I know. Whenever always people get us confused, I'm like, I think I'd be pissed if I was him because he's better looking than I am. But I'll say this: that now you walk in the locker room. First of all, there's nobody in there. They're back in the training room.
Yep.
You have to request players to come out, and when they come out, it's robotic. It's robotic. And again, I can understand why. There's been times where they said something, it kind of gets changed up when a reporter puts it on Twitter, and then they have to eat it because it looks like they said it. And so there's no incentive for them to come out and show a personality.
I think the money has changed it too.
For sure.
I mean, when you start looking at the money in sports, but I saw it more so, I think, with hockey, because the money got in there, the big money got in there a little later than the other sports. and that's when it all started to get more businesslike, and
Yeah,
the
that's a
money
great
changed
point.
it. You know,
Yeah.
and it doesn't make it right or wrong. And I don't begrudge a player for making the most money
Oh,
he can
hell
make.
no.
It's great, but it just made it more businesslike.
It's a great point. One of my favorite analogies, which speaks to what you're talking about, is the famous Bob Ryan, the sports writer out of Boston. And he said, I remember when I used to be able to walk in the Celtics locker room and sit next to Larry Bird and talk to him for 15 minutes. He said, years later, I got to have my people talk to Kevin Garnett's people to map out a time when we
Yes.
might be able to sit down for 5 minutes.
By the way, every time I have you on, I love this story.
I know where this is going,
You know
Jay.
where I'm going.
I love it. Let's go.
All right, so I'm doing television for the Blues. I have JR as my guest. He's going to be I think we either taped it or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's a pregame show guest or intermission guest. And your family was very, very excited to see you on television.
Yeah, Jay, so my in-laws told me that if you're ever going to be on TV, please call us. And I said, okay, no problem. So Danny comes up to me in Nashville a couple hours before the game, and he says, hey, can you do pregame like at 6:20? I said, yeah, no problem. So it triggered, call the in-laws. I got to call the in-laws. So I dial up my father-in-law, and he answers the phone. What's going on? I said, hey, going to be on TV tonight. He says, what time? I tell him about 6:20. His response, hand on the Bible, right smack in the middle of Wheel of Fortune? It's his first response. So,
And he was being serious,
he was
too.
being dead serious. So I guess we had to pull him away from Wheel of Fortune. But so I hung up with him, and I didn't know anything. I didn't know if they watched. I didn't know what they thought, anything. But a couple days goes by, and I go over to their house, and on the kitchen table is a stack of still pictures like you'd get developed at Walmart or Target or whatever. And I'm looking at these pictures, and it's about 50 pictures that somebody took of the TV with Danny and I on the screen.
They didn't tape it. They took the pic. They took Polaroid.
If you flip through the pictures like you would like a deck of 52 cards, Danny and I were just moving, just boop, 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 just moving back and forth. So I
God
looked,
bless him.
I said to my mother-in-law, I go, what in God's green earth? And she goes, I couldn't find a VCR tape to tape over, so I had to take pictures.
Well, they got to be awfully
That
proud
is
of what you've
so
done.
good.
It's so funny, but you got to be proud, and your family's got to be so proud of everything that you've done. I mean, you documented better than anybody the first ever Stanley Cup championship here in St.
Incredible.
Louis, and that'll be forever. And I mean, that's a feather
The
in your
first
cap,
one, man. The first.
And there can only be one first one, and you
Yep.
did it.
You know, I appreciate it. There are a lot of people here in St. Louis that were able to be a part of the coverage of that team and just to be a part of it. As I said, growing up being a Blues fan, you know, these are the guys that I idolized. I do remember, you guys, the mini blinds, you know when you have mini blinds that cover a window?
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So I had my entire room covered with Sports Illustrated pictures, every athlete you could think of, ceiling and everything. And it bothered me because the mini blinds were white and uncovered. There's nothing covering them up. So I took a Curtis Joseph poster like you'd buy at Spencer Gifts or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
And I cut it in strips and I taped each strip to the mini blind. And so when you turned it, all of a sudden Curtis
You got
Joseph
Curtis.
appeared
Yeah.
and he's blocking a shot. And so one day I'm over at Chaffetz Arena for something, and Cujo's over there signing books. And he can't find an Uber. I said, Curtis, I'm going down to the rink if you want to go. So you know how it is, Jay. You know, being around you, being around people like that, professionally, I didn't know what do I say something, do I
Yeah.
not? Of course, Dan, you know,
Sure.
dope Jeremy, I decide I'm going to tell Curtis Joseph
Yeah.
this story. And he looks at me kind of peculiar, sitting in my passenger seat of my truck, and he goes, so I like saved you from the sunlight. And, like,
So he may have thought
It's
you're
so
a little bit of
good.
a stalker. Is
Yeah,
what you're
wait a
saying.
minute.
that's
wait
where
a
that
minute.
was going, yeah.
JR, how many books have you written? And
Just
let's
two,
tell
yeah.
people about that. I mean, I've read the Bernie's book. It's
Oh, it's
fantastic.
fantastic,
Just
especially for us who know him so well. It
right,
was
so
you did a hell of a
well
job
Did it
with
sound
it.
like him, I hope?
Oh, you did a hell
him
of a job.
talking,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you wrote those books, were you satisfied? What did you leave on the cutting room floor? Do you ever reflect on it? Like, I think people always do an enormous project like that, and they look back and go, oh, my God, I should have put this in, or I forgot about this little anecdote. Something triggered a memory that I knew I needed to put in a book, whatever. Did any of that kind of stuff happen with you?
Yeah, I think with the 100 Things Blues fans should know and do before they die, again, 100 chapters, so you got a lot to cover. But after the book was published, I was kind of upset. I didn't include a chapter in there about Grant Fuhr. Remember the year he played, 79 out of the 82 games?
Yeah.
I think that would have been a worthwhile story to tell. Like, that's an incredible number, on the record. And then also Manon Riom, she played against the Blues in a preseason game, and I didn't think to include that in the book, so that's one that I kind of kicked myself. With the Bernie book, we put in there as much as we could. A quick funny story, and I don't know if Bernadette's listening today.
She never misses a show on Sundays.
I might be in trouble. I'll tell you this. So picture, Jay, you've been there, Dan too, you're sitting at Bernie's kind of kitchen table, that long table, and the microphone's in the middle. And Bernie's just literally talking for 5 hours. I might have to prod him every once in a while with a question. But for some reason, he got going on a girl that he dated for 6 months.
That's not good.
And so let's say her name's Sally. So for about 2 minutes out of the 5 hours, Bernie is going, well, and then Sally this, and then Sally this. Well, Bernadette's walking around the house, like, cleaning things up or whatever, and she goes, okay, hold on. JR, can we not include Sally in this book?
I love it.
So
That's
Sally
so
didn't
good.
make the final cut.
That's so good.
Hey, this has been awesome, man.
Oh, thank
I
you
could talk to
guys.
you forever.
Oh my gosh, it is fantastic, and people how can they get to books? I mean, obviously Amazon and
Amazon's
the
probably
local
the
things.
best way, or you can go to the bookstores. I think there's a couple of the big chains here in the area. But no, I appreciate it, you guys. Dan, you mentioned I wrote the book 100 Things Blues in 2014, and then something happened in 2019. They won the Stanley Cup, so we had to rewrite about 5 chapters and take out 5 old ones. But that was a fun process to do. So if you do go get that book, I want to be up front. Look for the copy with the yellow cover, because that's the Stanley Cup edition. It'll have a stamp on there, and it'll be refreshed with the stuff that people want to read.
That is so cool.
That's so great.
Yeah.
JR, thanks for doing this.
Thank you guys. This is a pleasure. Thanks a lot.
You got it.
Thanks
That's
for joining us.
Jeremy Rutherford from The Athletic. We're coming to you from Show Me's on this Sunday morning. It's Golf with Jay Delsing, and we're presented by Daugherty Business Solutions.
Hey, this is Jay Delsing for SSM Health Physical Therapy. Our golf program has the same screening techniques and technology as the pros on the PGA Tour use. SSM Health Physical Therapy has the Titleist Performance Institute trained physical therapists that can perform the TPI screening on you, as well as use the K-Vest 3D motion capture system. Proper posture, alignment, etc. can help you keep your game right down the middle. We have 80 locations in the St. Louis area. Call 800-518-1626 or visit them on the web at ssmphysicaltherapy.com. Your therapy, our passion.
Hi, this is Nick Ragone from the Ascension Charity Classic, and you're listening to Golf with Jay Delsing.
Daugherty Business Solutions has been enhancing the business of our customers for the last 37 years. How do we do it? Through our expertise in technology, better use of data and analytics, artificial intelligence, and machine learning. We roll up our sleeves and collaborate. We build applications and effectively communicate with our partner clients to bring their goals and objectives to the finish line. Our award-winning Access Point program is a community game changer. With nearly 100 students in the program, mostly young African-American females are making between $55,000 and $60,000 per year right out of high school. That's right, $55,000 to $60,000 a year right after high school graduation. That's when they begin their training. CEO Ron Daugherty believes the talent is equally distributed, but access to that opportunity is not. So here's Access Point, providing more and more opportunity for those in and around our community. It's Daugherty Business Solutions.
Family Golf and Learning Center. No matter your age or skill level, Family Golf and Learning Center, located in Kirkwood, has something for you. They've got it all. PGA and LPGA instruction, double-decker driving range, par 3 golf course, TrackMan simulators, a large short game green design to help you with all your shots around the green, bunkers, rough, and Zoysia fairway pitching, And now open the Tahoma Bermuda Grass Tees, the best turf to hit from in St. Louis. It's all at Family Golf and Learning Center. To schedule a lesson or to find out more, visit FamilyGolfOnline.com. That's FamilyGolfOnline.com. Family Golf and Learning Center. We make St. Louis better at golf.
Are you driving an out-of-warranty car? It's only a matter of time before your out-of-warranty vehicle is in the shop costing you thousands of dollars. Auto repair costs are up nearly 20% from last year, which is 4 times the rate of inflation. If an unexpected breakdown happened today, would you be ready for that? Well, now you can be with a plan through CarShield. Even if your car is just over 3 years old, it's still prone to expensive costs. Your car is more than just getting you from point A to point B. Traveling by car is a way of life. From picking up your kids to going to a new restaurant, cars are a daily essential. When you enroll in a car protection plan through CarShield, you can look forward to the following. The price will never go up no matter how many claims you file, or no matter how high the mileage on your car increases. CarShield offers protection plans that start as low as $100 per month. That's $100 per month. They have repair coverage for up to 5,000 different parts of your vehicle. Plus, when your car breaks down and you're stuck on the side of the road, you get 24/7 coast-to-coast roadside assistance. You also get complimentary towing and rental car options. CarShield has my back when my car breaks down, and they can have yours too. Call CarShield today at 800-465-6550 or visit carshield.com. It's CarShield, proud sponsor of the Golf with Jay Delsing show.
Well, that was a fun visit with Jeremy Rutherford. We're at Show Me's on this Sunday morning. It's Golf with Jay Delsing. Along with Jay Delsing, I'm Dan McLaughlin. We're presented by Daugherty Business Solutions. Fun to visit with JR, wasn't it?
It is, Danny. You know what I love about him is there's something about sitting next to him where you feel like you're thrown back into that era that we both love so much, where it was okay to be a character. It was okay to say something that was a little, we're in a culture today that if you make one false move, everybody wants to cancel you.
Exactly.
And they want to eliminate you. And back in the day, it was okay to be colorful or to, Bobby Plager, how about the stories about what five guys? So good.
Is there a guy that in media, because I think a lot of players gravitate towards JR because he's trusted.
Yes.
So he's going to get a lot of really good anecdotes and stories and things of that nature. And I'm sure there's been countless stories in which he has not been able to publish.
Yeah, of course.
Because of the background information and whatnot he gets.
Of course.
But was there a guy in golf media that people gravitated towards, or did you gravitate towards?
Tim Rosenford.
Yeah,
Tim, and we lost
Tim. We used to see him all the time on Golf Channel too.
All the time, and Tim was just a great human being. We lost him way too early, but he was one of those guys, Danny, that when you talked to him, he listened. It was like he was genuinely interested. He didn't ask you some sort of flighty question that he asked you something that he truly cared about, and he listened to the answer, and it was really cool.
Did guys, majority of times with the media, did they talk to the media before they hit the range, in the locker room? Pre-Obviously now you see it where they're just put up at a podium and they, the pool of reporters is asking them questions. How did it work back in the day?
Back in the day, they didn't. There was no pre-tournament press conferences and things like that. I mean, if you had the great Jack Nicklaus playing, but Tiger changed all that, Danny, because of the money. There were just more eyeballs on it, and if someone played well, guys would come to my locker and just ask me questions, and you'd go to the media room and you'd sit in there for 10 minutes and they'd ask you stuff, and it's and off you went. It was
no big deal.
No, but Tiger just changed everything. I mean, all of a sudden now people care.
You're good with, you were great and are great with the media. I'm telling you, you are. In good, bad, and different, I've seen you. You're great with the media. Was there any time that you just said, you know what, I want to take this guy and throw him through my locker right now?
So Danny, I was playing in the qualifying school tournament, and I was older. I was 40. This was when I got through, and I was 44, and Paven was caddying for me, and we were struggling with some reads on the greens. Believe it or not, I got a U.S. Open champ, and we didn't ring the greens well. But it was absolutely freezing cold down in Orlando where we played. We got this weird cold snap. So Danny, I've got this long sleeve thermal on. I've got a turtleneck, and I've got a top. But the problem with what you wear is that there's a point of diminishing return where you feel like a snowman if you get too, if your arms get too thick. So you've got to be cold, and you've got to figure it out. And so I was out there, and I had just had a really mediocre round 5. And I was pissed.
And how many rounds are there for that? 6, right?
And so, which is odd too, because you never have more than 4 rounds, So, and I was pissed. And a guy from the Golf Channel was like, it wasn't chirping me, but he was like, "Well, you can just, will you come on?" And I'm like, "Sure." And then he's like, "Yeah, I need you to wait like 15 minutes." And I'm like, "Huh." You know what I mean? I was like, I'm on fire.
So what did you do?
I'm on fire, and I'm like, and Paven goes, just do it. Just do it. And so, Danny, I was getting paid by Cleveland Golf, so I had my Cleveland Golf hat on, and I had a stocking hat pulled over it. That's how cold we were.
Sure.
And the guy goes, why don't you take your stocking hat off? And I said, why don't you just start talking? I was just, what happens, D? When you walk right off the golf course, you are so emotionally raw.
Yeah.
And you're trying to figure out, what the hell did I just do? And try to get your hands around it. And when I watch some of the guys, and just take the Cardinals, for example, when Tony La Russa, great Tony La Russa, would have to go in the room in front of those reporters, 20 minutes after a ball game?
Oh, it'd be less than that. Usually it's like a 10-minute cooling off period, and then the doors open up.
That is so unfair, because you're trying to emotionally, not snap it. And inevitably you get those questions like, I know. Coach Berube will say, did you watch the game?
Yeah.
How about the hand pass? Just take the hand pass in the San Jose series. Their hand pass should have been called. It wasn't called. The hand passes to a guy. He scores a goal. We lose in overtime. And Craig Berube just would not acknowledge it. He goes, did you watch the game? The guy goes, he did. He goes, did you think it was a hand pass? He goes, it sure as hell was a hand pass. He goes, okay, great. Next question.
Yeah.
We're not doing it. And but you're at the whim. Your emotions are on razor's edge, man. And with golf, I was just really pissed at myself and what I did and what I didn't do. And I was just in no mood. A lot of pressure, and I wanted to get the rest of my work done and get out.
It always seems like JR is able to get the best out of guys.
Yeah.
I just found it, when I was around him, the players trusted him, man.
Yep.
Players trusted him.
Yep.
And if you have the trust of the players, that pen is almighty. That's a big sword, man.
Is the pen mightier than the sword, man? We know that it is. The pen is.
It is. Yeah. And if you trust, though, the guy that you're giving info to or the gal, then you're going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's part of it.
But, Danny, that trust is earned, man.
Absolutely.
It is earned. And JR has done a yeoman's task at this sort of stuff. And he has earned his stripes, and he's come up from the ranks. And again, that's, and it's also that thing, D, you make one mistake in this world we're in today, they just want to drop you off the face of the earth. I mean, you can't make a false step.
But you're always good with the media. I've seen it. I mean, you may be upset, but you don't take the frustration out on the media. And there's a difference between the two. You can be mad and be kind of short with your answers, but then there can be the kind of guy that gets personal with the media or just doesn't even do it. You've never done anything like that.
Nah, I try not to do it. I mean, my dad taught me, it's all part of being a professional, and when you don't have a bunch of teammates, I mean, this is my brand. This is my, you know what I mean? And you don't really, it's not going to do you any good to snap, even though it might feel good. It might feel
awesome.
really good. You know where sometimes that club needs to be thrown.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's like your putter. You said your putter didn't make the cut the last couple of weeks.
No, didn't. I took it out of the bag. I let it ride along the last couple of rounds just to see what it was like.
Just to be part of the team,
just a part of the, just a tiny tip of the team.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you know what I did today? I said, you got to ride in the car. You're not in.
Right?
You don't get to go.
You didn't even put her in the bag.
I mean, not today. But when the hell did I play? Whatever it was, I'm like, you're out of the bag.
That was it.
Yeah. So you got to perform.
You got to perform.
You got to make some putts. If you're not making any putts, you're off. You're just out.
You want to be part of the starting lineup for Jay, you got to perform.
Danny, I used to go down the basement. I had, at one point in time, I had over 30 sets of clubs in the basement. Okay?
What'd you do with all those?
I gave them away to the
first tee.
Yeah. So deep. I'd say the girls would be like, Dad's talking to nobody in the basement. And I would walk around those clubs and I'm like, any of you guys want to get up and make some money?
And you really were doing that.
Oh, yeah. Like, which one of you guys want? And the girls are like, Dad, you okay? I'm like, I'm doing fine. Leave me alone. I'm just talking to see what he wants to do. And then they come up. I'm like, got a couple of wedges in my hand. They're around and they're like, Dad's just lost his mind.
If you look at it probably in realistic terms, it was either talking to them or talking to your wife.
Yeah. I know. Well, I went to the clubs.
You're terrible. You're terrible. That's Jay Delsing. I'm Dan McLaughlin. When we come back, we're going to talk about a very special day for Jay and many here in St. Louis. This is Golf with Jay Delsing, and we're presented by Daugherty Business Solutions.
Okay, so Marcone is the largest distributor of GE parts in North America. Check. You know about their support for backstoppers, first responders, and our men and women in the military. Check that also. Well, here's their latest community venture. It's called Wreaths Across America. This year, Marcone will place 1,000 Christmas wreaths on the gravesites of our fallen military heroes in 10 different cemeteries around the country, from Dallas to Delaware, Western New York to Houston, New Jersey to right here at Jefferson Barracks. Each of these locations and more will have wreaths delivered and respectfully placed on a gravesite. Remember the fallen, honor those who serve, and teach the next generation the value of freedom. That's the mission of the Wreaths Across America program. So join the Golf with Jay Delsing show and Marcone and sponsor a wreath, volunteer, or partner with us to support our military. Saturday, December 16th is National Wreaths Across America Day. So get involved. That's Marcone and Wreaths Across America.
Get ready to watch the legends of golf up close when they compete at historic Norwood Hills Country Club right here in St. Louis. The Ascension Charity Classic will be back again with some of golf's biggest names: Steve Stricker, Padraig Harrington, John Daly, David Duval, Bernard Langer, Ernie Els, and more will return September 3rd through the 8th at Norwood Hills. All tournament proceeds go to area charities serving North St. Louis County youth and families. Sponsorship opportunities, Pro-Am foursomes, and more information available for you at AscensionCharityClassic.com. Winding down the show from Show Me's, it's Golf with Jay Delsing, and we're presented by Daugherty Business Solutions. With Jay Delsing, I'm Dan McLaughlin. It's been a really nice visit with Matt Minder in hour number 1, Jeremy Rutherford of The Athletic here in hour number 2. And now it's my chance to visit and put Jay on the spot with what will be an emotional day for Jay, and a day that he'll never forget. He's being inducted into the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. After we leave Show Me's, we're going to go get a little something to eat, then head down to the Chase, and you're headed to the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations. It should be a great day.
I can't believe it, Danny. Thank you so much. I'm overwhelmed. I'm going to try to get through this thing today without, completely falling into a puddle of, tears and all the other stuff. But it's, it's nothing I ever considered would ever happen. And when this call, I was like, wow. I just didn't know. Honestly, I didn't. We haven't really even talked about it that much. You and I hang out a lot. We talk about a lot of things. I just really, it's nothing you ever really, I mean, if someone said, would you ever want to be in the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame, I'd say, oh my God, of course I would. But it's nothing you ever really think of. You just wonder if, will it ever happen? And you just keep going about your business,
Sure.
you know, and to get the recognition and to, it's, I don't even know what to say about it.
Well, it takes you back, I would imagine, as you're thinking about what you're going to say today and you're writing your speech
Yep.
and variations of your speech.
Yep.
It probably takes you back to when it all started.
No doubt.
As a kid and playing golf and what this thing may be like.
You know, the thing, Danny, when I go back to thinking about it, it's that little boy.
Yeah.
It's that little boy with massive dreams. Like, I'm too dumb to not know I should be afraid and I shouldn't do, you know what it was like. Look
Sure.
at the things that you've won 4 damn Emmys. I mean, how many times?
I didn't play on the PGA Tour, brother.
No,
so
no.
you were. I was talking for a living, and you were putting for a living. And if those putts didn't fall, there was maybe food not on the table.
But
so,
you,
come on.
you start thinking about that, though, and you're like, as this little kid, you wanted to get to the top of our profession, and I did, and you did, and that's not easy. And you think about how did that happen?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's really, Danny, one day at a time, and one day thinking you could do it on top of another day thinking you could do it. And some of those days I wanted to walk home and quit and go, what the hell am I doing? I suck. You know, I'm not good at today, and I just don't know what to do with that. And then you have those other days, like we were talking about, you know, giving away those awards at the Missouri Amateur Golf Association, and how emotional people get, because then you have those other days and you're like, wow, I won this tournament. I don't know how I did that.
Why did you gravitate as a kid towards golf? I don't think I've ever really asked you this.
I wanted to play professional baseball. I mean, that's all I ever wanted to do. I wanted to be a professional athlete. I wanted to play something. And with my dad being baseball was just, that's what it was. And unfortunately, I was one of those kids that you were probably the same way. I just wanted a lot of whatever it was going to be, and there wasn't enough. You know, I played baseball, and I was really good, and I could hit, I could throw, the whole thing. But then there were 6 games in the summer and 6 practices. And then, you know, you had a playoff game and 2 playoff games, and you win a playoff game, and that's it. And I'm like, well, what else are we going to do?
Okay, so when did you know then that golf was probably going to be your sport?
Probably. Well, when I went to high school, I'll never forget the tryouts at St. Louis U High. We have an 18-hole tryout at the big course over at Forest Park.
Yeah.
And I'm, you know, I don't know one kid on this team. I don't know, you know, and I don't know what to expect, but it's high school, and I'm on it. I am trying, and I shoot 76.
As a freshman.
And I'm thinking, I probably blew that.
Did you
I did
really,
not
as
play
a freshman?
I didn't play that well, but it was a big golf course.
Yeah.
You know, and I didn't play that well, and I'm thinking, man, I just, you know, hopefully this will work out. And I was low on our team by like 10.
Oh, at least.
Our team was bad.
No, it just.
But D, we didn't get
76 as a freshman, my man, is pretty darn good.
It was pretty good, but I was thinking, man, I needed to be in the 60s. You know, and I was thinking under par, and I shot over par, and then I realized our team wasn't, like, you know, so I was the number 1 man on the team for 4 years. I mean, it just, nobody, you know, it just didn't, you know, nobody really threatened.
So I'm kind of going through in this final segment as we head towards the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame this afternoon. And by the way, we're coming to you from Shomies. We took the Car Shield Studios on the road with us.
Yeah, hey,
you're allowed to do that.
Yeah, you are. We got good protection.
So, yes, we do, Car Shield Studios. So you gravitate towards golf, and it takes you to being a caddy at Norwood Hills, to St. Louis U High, to UCLA.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Crazy.
It is crazy. But here's the great thing, though. How did they find you? I think people need to know, at this day and age, they can find you at these nationwide tournaments, the internet, all those things.
Yeah.
Back in the day, that's not how it worked.
No cell phones, no internet.
You had to work it.
It was all through the U.S. mail and through phones. And I mean, the phone on the wall at your house that was, you know, green or something like, you know. And so Danny, I played well in the U.S. Junior, which was up in Delaware, and I nearly won that tournament. And that is like the U.S. Open for junior golfers, you know. So I lost to the eventual winner. Is either in the semifinals or in the quarterfinals. I lost in 21 holes to a guy named Don Herter, who is now the director of golf at Castle Pines out in Denver. And that just rocketed me right up and then I played well in the PGA Junior Championship, and then there was one other event that was a national event. It was called the Insurance Youth Classic. It was sponsored by an insurance company, and I played in those my I guess it would be my sophomore year and my junior year of high school, when that was super important.
Sure.
I was playing in those, and then when I was 16, I nearly won the U.S. Junior up in Delaware, and that just put me as a blue chipper. So, but Danny, I remember going to a bookstore in the mall and buying this book, and it had every single university in the country. It had the athletic department email address and address,
yeah,
literal address. And I bought all. I was on the cover of 2 of these Gateway Golfer magazines.
Great. And
I put 2 of the copies of these magazines in this thing with my resume and a note to the coach. And I sent probably 200 of these out.
That's great.
Yeah, it was insane. I remember saving all this money for the postage, and it was, it cost all of about 12 cents to send this stuff out. And Danny, I literally had, this is going to sound like I'm bragging, I literally had scholarships pouring in.
Oh, I can imagine.
I mean, I remember one like University of Nevada, Reno, and my mom goes, "Why would you send one there?" I'm like, "Why not?" I said, because I'm thinking that might be the only people that respond.
Sure.
And I'm going to go to Reno.
Why UCLA?
So I had a picture in my basement. I had the poster, and it was John Wooden and Bill Walton and 88 straight wins. You
never told me this.
I don't know if I've told anybody this. And I look at that. So I'm being recruited I go to ASU and U of A down in Phoenix, Mesa, and then Tucson, where U of A is. Then on the way back, I went to USC, and then UCLA said, "Hey, why don't you just pop in here? So we heard you're in town. Why don't you just pop in here and check us out? We'd like you to come to UCLA." Well, I'm like, UCLA? Oh my gosh, it's so cool. So and I didn't know anything, but USC's in the middle of Watts. Now, USC's a great school. I hate them though.
Yeah, I was going to say, you can't say that.
Right, I can't really say that because I don't really mean that. But
no, you can say you hate them because you went to UCLA. That's fine.
Right. So little did I know, I hate that school.
That's fine.
So I go back by UCLA, and they take me through the athletic department, and there's Will Chamberlain's hanging out, and Jimmy Connors, and all of these, Paulie Pavilion, and my senior year of high school, John Wooden is still the coach of the UCLA basketball team.
It's amazing.
The UCLA, the real reason that UCLA got the final nod over like Wake Forest and Houston and all those other schools is a degree from UCLA is top notch.
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
they're a top 15 scholastic school, and I'm not going to say I was all that diligent with my schoolwork, but I did get a degree.
Yeah.
4 years, got my degree
in
business economics.
Shocking that you did business economics.
Yeah.
You're one of the great hustlers I've ever seen in my life.
You gotta hustle, man. You gotta, I just keep trying. Listen, from one hustler to the next, man. You and I take our show on the road, man, and we.
If we got to take our show on the road, we hustle.
Call us. We'll be at your house. We'll do it in your backyard. It might be snowing. We'll put it. I'll hold an umbrella up. We're fine.
At jdelsinggolf.com if you'd like us to come to your backyard.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
From UCLA now it's to the PGA Tour.
Yeah, Danny, I'll never forget. So I'm going through a nice college career. And now I'm turning pro, and I'm going through the qualifying school, the very first right out of college, and I have to go through the stages, and so I get through the first one, no problem. Get through the second one, I'm on the last day in D. I'm playing never forget this as long as I live. I'm on like the 4th hole at Bear Creek down in Temecula. It's a Jack Nicklaus course, and I got there, and I'm playing a black Titleist 3, and I hit my drive just in the left rough. Got hit over this ravine and over this creek and onto this green. I hit it onto the green. I go up there. I'm playing a black Titleist 3. Not my ball. Oh. I find a black Titleist 3, and I hit it, but it's not my Titleist 3.
Oh. That's gut-wrenching, bro.
Dude, I had to walk back up that hill, find my ball. I made 7. Missed by 1. Now I don't have anything for a year.
Yeah.
I got to wait for an entire year. It actually but it taught me a lot.
Painful,
so then
man.
I started playing some state opens. I started playing. So I graduated in 83. I played some mini tour stuff for almost a full year, and then I got my card the following year. And when I was going through that qualifying school that next year, there was something inside of me that just said,
yeah,
I got this. And I don't know why, but I was like, I am not mini tour player. I am going to and somehow the grace of God and some lift-in putts and some other stuff. Danny, I walked off of that. I remember playing with Brad Fable and Steve Pate the last round, and we couldn't get the ball in the hole. It was just a train wreck. But I finished 24th I finished 17th at the ties. My number was 24, which happens to be my dad's number.
Yeah.
I've got a tattoo of the 24, and I didn't even realize that until probably 10 years after. But we walk off the 18th green, and the three of us all make it. We all know we got our PGA Tour cards. Brad Fable walks over to the water. The 18th green is surrounded by water. He takes everything out of his pockets, all the tees, all his ball markers, coins, glove, ball, throws it into the water. And I'm like, dude, he's like, I don't want anything to do with this. I don't ever want anything that on me that I took with me from this round.
Sure.
It is so, and Steve Pate's like taking a deep breath. I'm like, you good? He's like, I think I'm good. Man, I think I'm good. And it was just like this relief. The first tournament I've ever played 6 rounds of a tournament. And you're like, whatever, man.
Sure.
It's over, and we got through, and then off we go.
700 plus PGA Tour starts for you. That's incredible,
That's
man.
insane, man. You
got up to 51st in the world.
Yeah.
Became one of the best players in the world. When you're 51st in the world, you're one of the best in the world. You're probably the best, not probably, you're the best golfer to come out of St. Louis. I mean, you can make that case.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's again nothing I've ever thought about, but it's
taking you now to what you're going to. One of the culminations of a career is to go to the Missouri Sports Hall of Fame and be recognized. And as you said, something you never thought of.
No, but I mean, I sit there. My girls are going to be in town. My brother's going to be in town. You're going to be at the table. I can start crying right now, man. It's one of those things where you just think about it and you go, I mean, the idea in my heart is like, I don't deserve this. You know what I mean? It's like, why? How did this happen? How did they choose me? All that other stuff. And it feels really damn good.
It should.
It really does.
Well deserved. And you've made a party out of it. I can tell you that. So Friday night.
Yeah.
Carried over into Saturday.
Yeah.
And then here we are at Show Me's on a Sunday to kick off your Hall of Fame day.
Yeah.
A little party tonight, too.
Yeah, we're going to have folks come by and have a little
you got a little raspy voice anyway. So you're a little tired right now.
Yeah.
And next week, the show is in question.
Yeah,
I can already tell.
It is. Yeah, it is.
It's going to be long.
Is it a bye week for us?
We don't get bye weeks, brother. We don't get those.
I know. It was just like when I was playing and I was lousy. I'm like, can I just please get a timeout? I just would love to have like 30 seconds.
You don't get those.
No, you got to just fire it up, man.
And, when you miss a cut or whatever, you got to hop in the vehicle, go to the next stop, and that's life on the tour, which I'm sure you're going to mention it today in talking about your girls, but they were there. Good wins, bad losses, missed cuts, tough days. And I'll tell you this, when I was at the Ascension walking with them, I purposely, I don't think I've told you this, I purposely stood away from them for a little bit because I wanted to observe. So some of the holes you played extraordinarily well. Now,
there were some others.
Well, and there wasn't much of a reaction. There was kind of, oh, cool, Dad.
Yeah.
And then there was some that were tougher.
Yeah.
You didn't putt as well or whatever the case was. And the same reaction.
Yeah.
And what it taught me was like, man, these guys have been through it all with him.
Oh, yeah.
The ups, the downs, the good times, the bad times, where they don't get too high, they don't get too low. And I was sitting there like it was me putting. Like if you made a putt or missed a putt, I was like, and they were just very calm and collected. But what it taught me was that they've been there and have been there all the way for you.
Yeah, they've suffered. They've suffered. And
Well, not suffered, but I mean,
no, but I mean, they've suffered. When I was down,
They were
they
there
knew I
with
was
you.
hurting. And the cool thing about the kids is they didn't care, Danny, if I shot 65
Exactly.
or 85. They like, Dad, can we go to the pool? Can I have a popsicle? Can we just go hang out together? And I got to tell you, my daughter said to me earlier this week, we went out and they're obviously in town for this, and they said, Dad, you know what was so cool about walking around with Mr. McLaughlin? And I'm like, well, just the fact that you were raised on his baseball call. And they said, yeah. There was one time that he said something to me, and my daughter Brennan said, Dad, I had to snap my head over and go, oh, yeah.
Yeah,
he's
well.
standing right next to me. It's like he's like, I was raised on his voice. He's
Well,
like the voice of
been
a
there, done it,
Cardinals
buddy.
man. Yep.
Been there, done it.
And we'll do it again for sure. But that was interesting because they were like, Dad, my head snapped back, and they're like, that voice is like, it's like the radio, the TV, it's on.
Well, they just seem to kind of roll with the punches, man.
Yeah.
And it just made me realize they've been there all the way through and through.
Yeah, just with the career I had, it wasn't. I mean, there were
hell of
highs
a
and there were
career, boy.
lows, but so they experienced it, and they were there, and this means it'd be so awesome if my mom and dad were still alive, Danny, but they're not.
Yeah.
So we got to move. But this is for them. I mean,
Yeah.
I think of all of that, and I just want to, it's crazy being a dad. You're the dad.
Yeah.
You're a dad. It makes you crazy sometimes. You'd stand in front of a train for these kids
For sure.
and then. That's just going to be neat to be able to celebrate with them and you and all the people that I love.
It's well deserved.
Thank you.
Well deserved. This has been fun from Show Me's.
Yeah, these guys are great, man. What a big crowd this Sunday, all-day happy hour, Sunday fun day. I mean, yep. And you got the NFL. I mean,
Got the NFL. Doors will open at 11, so we're about an hour away.
Yep.
And as Jay mentioned, all-day happy hour until midnight here at Show Me's in St. Charles. Good luck to everybody. By the way, good luck to you in your speech today.
I need it.
You're going to get through it.
I'm going to get through it one way or the other.
You're emotional, though.
I'm an emotion. I cry at a Hallmark commercial.
I know you do.
I do. I'm terrible at that.
Then what you need to do is look up at me, and I'll make you laugh or something. Then you'll get through it.
Yeah, yep. Take a deep breath. You got to keep breathing.
Absolutely.
When you start to well up, my bottom lip starts quivering. I'm like, oh damn, here comes the train.
Just got to think of something else and make you laugh.
I know.
Think of my golf swing or something.
Yeah. That's fantastic. Well, this has been a blast, man.
Jay Bird, how do we end the show?
Hit of straight, St. Louis.